I'm here with the head of counseling, Ms. Schuetze, and we're here to talk about what it's like to be a counselor here at St. George's. Thank you for meeting with us, ma'am.
My pleasure.
So, why'd you get into counseling in the first place?
Well, when I first came to Saints, I was a language teacher, language and social studies teacher, and I actually taught German and French and social studies, and I was always interested. I had an undergraduate degree in sociology and social work, and I was always interested in this field. So Mr. Toy at the time, he proposed for me to go back to school and get my counseling degree, and yes, so here I am.
What aspects about counseling were appealing to you?
I love this age range. I was never a very good baby mother. I loved it when my boys and my kids got older, and I feel like I can be a good help to the teenage range that we're dealing here with school. And the human mind and the human personality fascinates me, and I love sort of discovering solutions to problems with my students.
Do you ever wish to go back into teaching at some point?
I do love being in the classroom. I think that does give you an insight into students that you might not have when you're a little bit more isolated in the office, for sure.
So you're a counselor here. When you're sitting here and you have the new grade 8s come in, you got the grade 9s and the new boys and sometimes the grade 10s even. When they come into your office, what's it like being the person that they can turn to?
I feel very responsible. I'm very careful. When in other parts of my life, I often find I'm not being very present. When I have a student in front of me, I'm 100% focused on this student and what he's communicating to me, maybe by body language, maybe by what he's saying. In grade 8, obviously we have very anxious students come in. They're unsure of how they're going to do here at the senior school. Perhaps they're coming from another school. We talk a lot about anxiety. We talk a lot about anxiety attacks, panic attacks. We talk a lot about test-taking strategies. We talk a lot about being organized. And I work closely with the heads of grade. That's really a wonderful team effort that we do have now here at school. And the fact that we follow that student right through to graduation, at least on the counseling end of it, has certainly been a huge improvement to our system.
You ever counseled girls before?
I have, yeah, interestingly enough. Actually in the neighborhood. Neighbors.
But what are some of the differences in your approach then? Because obviously the girls and boys, their issues would be different, but they also would, the way they would be open with you would also be different, I would think. So how would some of your approaches be with that?
Well, I think obviously as a woman I probably have more empathy. I think that young women are under a plethora of stresses. They have images that they have to live up to. There's an entirely new sexual landscape out there that women are expected to navigate. I think approaching every student with a universal respect, listening to their story from their side, is always my tactic. And probably my advice wouldn't be that much different with girl students or with women.
Well, Ms. Schuetze, we really appreciate your time, and
you're so welcome.
I think a lot of the students at Saints can really come into your office and have a meaningful conversation when it matters.
I hope so.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.